is up, Laker fans? This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetzky, ESPN LA, 7:10 for the next 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m. As always, thank you very much to the listeners, to the viewers on the YouTube channel right now for Lakers Talk. You are always there for our, various migrations. We're like a traveling band. Me, Funchy, sometimes DeAndre Hawkins sticking around today. Very happy about that. And, of course, the listeners and the viewers, they travel with us like basically we're a dead show. This is like the radio version, the Lakers version, the basketball version of a dead show, and y'all are following us through different time slots, different hours, different days. Always appreciate it. Also, to appreciate everybody listening to Locked On Lakers, available 5 days a week, everywhere you get your podcast, Monday through Friday, always free, never behind a paywall. And for the sickos who like to watch, there is a YouTube component. Really good guest tonight. We're going to be joined at 6:30 by Tom Zayas from the Lakers Exceptionalism Podcast. Really data-driven conversations with him and Cranges McBasketball, who's been on Lakers Talk before. He's going to talk about some of what the numbers are telling him about this team, what he wants to see happen. He's very good at breaking down the nitty-gritty about schemes, stuff like that. So looking forward to talking with Tom at 6:30. Then at 7:15, Yovan Buha covers the Lakers for The Athletic. Everybody who is a Laker fan knows Yovan's coverage. He is also the host of the Buha's Block podcast, which can be found on YouTube and audio. You all should be listening to that. So that's Yovan Buha at 7:15. And it has been, to put it mildly, an interesting couple of weeks for the Lakers during what has been a very interesting season for the Lakers. They have been sputtering over the last few weeks. They have had some blowout losses. They have had losses, whether you're talking about versus the Magic at home, whether you're talking about Atlanta on the road, that they could have won, and those would have been impressive wins against teams that have been playing very well in those moments, but they simply could not close them out. It was combined with LeBron going through one of the worst slumps of his entire professional career, and that is something we're going to get into with LeBron over the next couple hours. And, what does it mean as far as the way the Lakers had played, the way LeBron has played? What does it mean for the immediate future of this organization, the big picture future of the organization? Should the Lakers stay the course? Should they blow it all up? There have been rumors flying everywhere, people. And then the Lakers had also entered this very unusual stretch because of the NBA Cup schedule, where they only have 3 games over about a 2.5-week stretch. They had last Friday's in Minnesota against the Timberwolves, which they lost, but played some of the best defense they've played all season. They lost 97-87, but they held the Wolves to under 100, which that is an accomplishment that had gotten some attention, at least on my part. And it was part of a trend where we saw the Lakers showing signs, and this is all relative because they were starting at quite literally the bottom in terms of defensive efficiency, execution, all that stuff, but little signs of getting better defensively, maybe even changing up some of their looks and approaches.
You just suck right now.
Play that one more time. Sorry.
That might have been me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought that was DeAndre.
There's a lot of stuff going on over here.
Okay, yes. I was like, what
I didn't touch anything.
Okay, well, I just wanted to hear what that was. All right. So anyway, the Lakers have been moving in a better direction defensively. Then you get last night at home versus the Grizzlies, one of the hottest teams in the NBA. Like, they entered that game having won 10 of their last 11 games. The Grizzlies had points per game, the top scoring offense in the league, top 5 for offensive rating. Like, they have been playing very well, and they have been scoring on everybody. And the Lakers not only beat them 116-110, but they play some of the best top-to-bottom defense that we've seen from this team all season. Again, continuing what has been a slow, incremental, but tangible improvement defensively for this team. And it was also LeBron making his return to the lineup from that left foot soreness, a recurring issue throughout this season. And I thought it was one of the best two-way performances for this season for the Lakers. 877-710-ESPN, by the way, if you want to weigh in on anything you saw last night in this win by the Lakers over the Grizzlies. And the win begins, of course, with Anthony Davis, who ended up battling through a left shoulder stinger that took him out of the game for part of the second half, directly led to the game actually getting closer than it had been to that point. When AD checked out of the game, the Lakers were up 81-61 with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. The quarter closed with the Lakers only up 9. So they lost 11 of those points, and they really started looking like a much different, dramatically worse team without Anthony Davis. He re-enters the game, clearly favoring that shoulder. There were times where that thing was just hanging limp, like AD. Forget the idea of how much it was hurting. I was wondering how much he could actually feel his shoulder. But he ended up finishing this game with 40 points, 15 of 22 from the field, 9 of 12 at the line, 16 rebounds, 2 steals and a block, 4 turnovers, part of the Lakers' 23 turnovers. Turnovers all of a sudden have become an issue for the Lakers. They'd actually been taking care of the ball pretty well most of this season, which has been very fortunate because they are so bad defending in transition. But AD took it to Jaren Jackson Jr. He loves, we've seen this, whether you're talking about Jaren Jackson Jr. or Rudy Gobert or the way he's played against Victor Wembanyama, the presumed favorite heading into this season for Defensive Player of the Year. AD loves to go at guys who've won this award that he very not so subtly believes he should have won. He anchored the defense. It was a reminder that Anthony Davis, this is his team now. Like, this team will go as far as Anthony Davis will carry them. They will go as far as he is able to take them. He is the best player on this team. He is without question the best two-way player on this team. And last night also, I think, was a reminder that as much as the concerns for AD when it comes to injuries are real, and I get why people are fearful of him, dude is not soft. Dude plays through a lot of stuff. I know he has missed time in the past. I know he's missed time with the Lakers. But AD really looks to stay on the court. And if you want to say that you think he gets injured too often to be reliable, fine. He's played through a lot over the last season and change, but I get where that's coming from. But the narrative of AD being soft needs to stop because he isn't. And then in the meantime, the defense that we saw last night, the head of that snake was Max Christie. He ended up getting the 5th starter nod with LeBron back. JJ said before the game that he was looking to fill that slot. There's been a lot of mixing and matching, a lot of trial and error experimentation, that he wants to find somebody that can thrive offensively or at least function offensively without the ball and can serve as a point of attack defender. That's Max Christie. And last night, he was sensational guarding Ja Morant. Ja finished last night 20 points, but 6 of 21 from the field, like 20 the very hard way. And looking up some of the deeper stats from last night, in the 6 minutes and 8 seconds that Ja was directly matched against Max Christie, Ja finished 2 of 11 from the field. He got one of his shots blocked by Max. He had 2 assists against 3 turnovers. Max Christie had Ja completely out of rhythm. And honestly, the only players in this game, if you go through all the different breakdowns, when Max Christie was matched directly against somebody from the Grizzlies looking to score, the only guys who scored against him at all were Jaren Jackson Jr. and Aldama, who are both bigger than Christie. Like, those are difficult matchups for Max Christie to guard one-on-one. And afterwards, J.J. Redick, Max's teammates, praised the hell out of Christie's defense, rightly. And if this is what Redick is seeking out in terms of lineup balance, and it seems like he is, because he started the season with a carryover from last year of D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, you know, the lineup that played really, really well down the stretch of last year. J.J. Redick talked about it as kind of the obvious look to go to. Since then, he's seemingly been looking for more balance in terms of skill sets, I feel like this is the way to go, because as far as the guys that you could put out there as defensive options, that point of attack defender, Gabe Vincent, I think over the last couple of weeks has actually defensively been pretty good, but he is too small for so many different matchups. I mean, he is often targeted, and you can't have your defensive specialist be a guy that's getting targeted. Like that just does not work. It defeats the purpose of having the guy out there for that defensive assignment. And then Cam Reddish, who I also thought actually played really well last night defensively, very disruptive. I think he's been doing very well in that defensive disruptor role. The problem is he is so ignored offensively. Like, I mean, defenses truly do not pay any attention to him at all. He really cannot generate his own offense. He had a sequence where he got a deflection and a steal and then decided, for reasons I will not understand, to dial up his own number and put up a step-back three that was an air ball that I imagine JJ probably spoke with him. Dead ball. Don't ever do that again. Do you remember, DeAndre, a couple plays later, Cam got a steal, just went right to the hoop.
Right to the basket.
Perfect.
Transition?
Yep.
We love Cam Reddish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and look, again, I think Cam has been really playing this role well, but Christie will not be ignored. Like Christie is seen as enough of a shooter that it's not like you'll never leave him, but he's not going to be ignored. I think he is better at putting the ball on the floor. He is better at getting himself to the line. And I think Cam is better served playing off the bench about 15-ish minutes and just told, go wreck shop. Just go wreck shop. That's your role. So I would be surprised if anything changes, at least in the immediate future. I know JJ's been doing a lot of tinkering, but I expect this to stay the lineup moving forward with Christie in that fifth slot. We'll see where it goes moving forward. Again, 877-710 ESPN if you want to weigh in on last night's win over the Grizzlies, 116-110. And coming up, going to talk a little bit more about LeBron's return, what we saw, what we can take from it, and what are the answers we still don't know. This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetzky, 710 ESPN.
Just like the Lakers have a game plan on the court, you should have a Go Safely game plan off the court. If you plan to drink, plan for a designated sober driver. If you're the designated sober driver, move over a lane when you see amber flashing lights on Caltrans, law enforcement, or other emergency vehicles or tow trucks. If you can't move over safely, slow down and be work zone alert. Go Safely, California, from the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
Get ready, LA. The Art of Sport LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk, is back at SoFi Stadium on December 18th at 6 p.m. Be there as the Mountain West top team goes head-to-head with the former Pac-12 contender in a showdown you won't want to miss. Tickets and premium suites are on sale now. Don't miss out on your chance to be a part of the action. Visit LABowlGame.com to secure your seats today. That's LABowlGame.com.
I'm here with Dr. Monica Madden. Explain Invisalign to me, because I think when people see that word and they see the price tag, sometimes they get scared off, but it's actually a pretty big improvement. When I grew up, I had braces and I had those big metal brackets along my teeth. If I came to Beverly Hills Ortho in 2024, I don't necessarily need that metal, do I?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out with braces only, and then Invisalign came along, and it's like putting a plastic tray on your teeth, switching it out every week, and all of a sudden, months into it, your teeth are much straighter. Now, it feels like putting a glove on your hand. It's so comfortable, and it's easy. Like no emergencies, no pokey wires, no broken brackets. It's really straightforward and great.
Here's how you get in touch with Beverly Hills Ortho. Call this number, 877-7-LET'S-DO-THIS. That's 877-753-8736 or BeverlyHillsOrtho.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text FLASH to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SLASH to 321-321. That's slash to 321-321.
All the latest surrounding the Lake Show, right here on Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetzky.
It was a quality performance and a quality win for LeBron as he made his return to action last night.
Yeah, I mean, just, I just try to make an impact when I'm on the floor and, do things that are trying to help us win, so on both sides of the floor.
LeBron is out near half court. Got to do something, LeBron. There he goes. Drive to the basket. He got there. Lay it up and in.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetzky.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetzky, ESPN LA 710. Going to be joined in about, 12-ish minutes by Tom Zayas, the co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast. Going to get a little bit into the numbers, what Tom is seeing about this team, what he likes, what he doesn't like. And then in about an hour, Yovan Buha from The Athletic covers the Lakers, some of the best coverage out there. You all know him, I guarantee it. Going to get into LeBron's return last night. But before then, Big Rob from Inglewood wants to weigh in, I believe, on LeBron. What's up, Big Rob?
What's up, Andy? I just want to say, hey, LeBron slump, hey, he's an old man, all right? Listen up. I work with old men every day in the construction industry. They good on Monday. They good on Tuesday. But about Wednesday, they start missing a step. And what I'm trying to say is, hey, LeBron should have been at home sitting down this offseason instead of him being over there in the Olympics. And you know what? I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Right now, the Lakers are in 10th place. I see San Antonio and I see Sacramento Kings who have not even begun to click yet. It's a strong chance LeBron might be getting some rest in the offseason after all during the playoffs.
Well, I appreciate the call, Big Rob. And the point that Rob made about working in construction and the guys who are older, how they function Monday versus Friday, that actually leads really well to something that I want to get into with LeBron, because he made his return last night, and that was the other big story of Lakers Grizzlies, other than obviously the Lakers getting the win. And LeBron had not played since December 6th in Atlanta. That loss to the Hawks. He didn't end up playing in the win over Portland in L.A. at the Crypt. Then he didn't play against the Wolves in Minneapolis. So he had 9 full days off in between games, and also didn't take part in the Lakers Get Right Day or the practice. So he had a lot of time off that problematic left foot, a lot of time to recharge mentally, however necessary that was. And in the return, I thought LeBron looked both rusty and lively. He had 18 points, 7 of 17 from the field, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, did have 5 turnovers. At times, I thought he was out of rhythm with the rest of the offense, and at times just out of sync with what they were doing. Like he was kind of at times trying to dribble his way into a rhythm. Like there were some sequences where LeBron was frankly just pounding the crap out of the ball. But at the same time, though, defensively, I thought this was some of the best energy and engagement and effectiveness that we've seen from LeBron over the course of a whole game in a while. Like this felt like LeBron dialed in defensively in ways that we don't see, frankly. regularly at this stage of LeBron's career, this season, last season. I mean, it's really been a thing for LeBron over the past couple seasons in a way that it often is for superstars as they are in their career twilights. The defense is often the thing that goes first. And all in all, though, I thought it was a good return. And there's going to be a few days between Sunday's win and Thursday's game in Sacramento. And I imagine LeBron is going to look pretty lively in that game as well. But from there, you start getting back on more of a regular NBA season calendar. And that's where I think we're going to start getting both questions and answers in terms of how rechargeable are LeBron's batteries? How often do they require recharging? What is the process of recharging them? And does that mean LeBron missing games? Does it mean his minutes being limited more? Does it start with JJ Redick, as he talked about yesterday, looking to change the way he goes about just administering LeBron's minutes?
Sure. I think it requires communication and feedback from both parties. It also maybe it's not sitting out a game. Maybe it's not necessarily like I told him the night before the game, not necessarily less minutes, but sort of shorter runs so that he's not getting gassed, and then quicker segments on the bench, and then he's back in. You know what I mean? So there's different ways to do it than just to say we're going to rest you and you're going to sit out a game.
And also, too, it's something by LeBron's own admission, we are going to be watching this over the next 56 games.
No, it's an everyday thing. No, it's not behind me. It's an everyday thing. It's something that's been lingering for the last few years. So, but I was able to do a lot of great things to reassure not only that, but I got knee, in the quad in the Atlanta game at the end of regulation by AD. So that's now back to 100%. But that was over probably 3 days ago. It was still pretty sore, but I'm able to get that back to 100. So that was great. So I was able to heal a lot of other ailments as well.
One formula, though, that I do think we saw last night that's something that we've seen earlier in the season, and I think we need to see more moving forward, is the idea that LeBron's usage goes down. Like that he's always going to be involved in the offense because there's certain things that he can do orchestrating it when he's on that nobody else on this team can do. And obviously, you want LeBron to have some element of fingerprints on the offense because he's LeBron James. If you're not having him do that, like there's arguably no point to him being out there. But at the same time, though, you need to make sure that you are conserving some energy if you're LeBron so it can be put towards the defensive end because too much of this season, for all being honest, LeBron's been a liability defensively. Like he has been a negative out there. And he hasn't been the only one, to be clear. Like LeBron is not the reason that the Lakers defense has been bad. Like there's a lot of blame to be spread around, I think, including some of J.J. Redick's schemes defensively and the way he's gone about approaching this, particularly the automatic switching that's been going on for every single possession, regardless of scenario, and I think how they've been switching. But LeBron's been a big factor, and I think one of the things that they're going to have to do moving forward is getting back to that balance that they had earlier in the season where everything was clearly running through Anthony Davis. AD had the highest usage rate on this team. LeBron had some of the lowest usage of his career, and he was looking to, I think, pick his spots a bit more offensively, pick the way that he gets involved. Other guys like Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui, like these guys, Dalton, who really dramatically needs to rediscover that outside shot. Like these guys all need to not just step up their own effectiveness offensively, but I think they also have to step up their own assertiveness. Like they need to make sure that they are claiming their parts of the offense and not just allow LeBron James through stature to do some of the things that he's hardwired to do these things now 22 seasons in and, going back to he's like 7 years old, clearly the best player on his team. Like this is the way LeBron's always been. These other guys are going to need to step in and take over their roles in the offense. Like, it reminds me a little bit of Derek Fisher years ago. I remember him talking one time about how you have to protect your space with Kobe. And this is Derek Fisher, Kobe's best friend throughout basketball, Kobe's most trusted teammate probably ever, even more than Shaq, even more than Powell, like certainly non-superstar. Kobe trusted Fish. They had an incredible relationship. But Fish used to say, like, if you don't protect your space on the court, Kobe's going to steamroll you because that's just how he's wired, which means, there are going to be times where Kobe would clap for the ball. You just have to ignore him. Like, you just have to do your part in the offense. Do the things that you are out there to do as opposed to just acquiesce to Kobe every time. These other guys are going to have to protect their space with LeBron. Not because I think LeBron's even trying to steamroll him, but just everybody is used to LeBron operating a certain way, including LeBron. And as much as it is up to, I think, LeBron to play his role in cooperating with this, it is up to the other guys to make sure that they are, again, protecting their space on the court and enabling LeBron to be, I think, the best version of himself on both sides of the ball. So there's a lot that goes into this. And look, we will see how much resting LeBron during this period, how much, if at all, it seems to affect things, not this week, but January, mid-January, beginning of February. How has this been playing out? It'll be interesting to see, but I did like a lot of what we saw from LeBron last night. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Tom Zayas, co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast, break down what he's seen, what of some of the numbers that have jumped out at him, what he would like to see change or be built on moving forward. Andy Kamenetzky, Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. You know those memes about guys panicking over last-minute holiday shopping? Yep, that's me. Guilty. You don't want to be that guy, okay? This year, don't be the guy that ends up falling for the trap of, oh, you don't have to get me anything. No. It's a trap, okay? My holiday strategy is less stuff, more flowers. I'm sending farm fresh flowers from the Books Company. And I've got 25% off your entire Books purchase so you can send some too. Their flowers are cut fresh, sourced directly from the best flower farms, so they last way longer. And it was easy. I picked a bouquet, set my delivery date, and that's it. Get a festive bouquet for mom, a mini tree for grandma, and go big with a flower subscription for your wife or your girlfriend or that significant other. And right now, you'll save 25% off with my promo code ESPN. Go to Books.com. That's BOUQS.com. Use the promo code ESPN. That's BOUQS.com. Promo code ESPN. Books. Promo code ESPN.
'Tis the season to tap in and follow the Purple and Gold on Instagram for access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content all season long. Follow the Lakers on Instagram and get exclusive insider access to highlights with angles straight from the floor. On Lakers Instagram, find out what happens behind the scenes through Instagram stories. Stay locked in throughout the season. Don't miss any of the action and follow the Lakers on Instagram now. Let's go, Lake Show.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Winning matters, especially after an accident. At calljacob.com, we're here for you when you need a big win. After an accident, go to calljacob.com or call 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB.
Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr.
Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. after Greenie.
I was in Palm Springs this weekend with some buddies. We played golf and, had some drinks and hung out and stuff. We were in bed every night by 9:30.
Nice.
It was so pathetic.
That's how you throw it down, though.
It was so pathetic.
That's not pathetic.
It is, because we're all in our 50s, or one of them's just shy of his 50th birthday. And we're like playing golf. We're having a good time. We're and then we stop. We have lunch, have a few more drinks, go out and play golf again. Go back to the bar at the clubhouse after a few more drinks. What do you guys want to do? Let's just call it a night.
Nice. I
But
bet
you
your
had,
feet
like,
were
the
so happy.
Whole ass day of fun.
Oh, we had we had a great time. But it was also one of these, like, when you're 25, you're like, we're going out.
Yeah.
We're going out. We went and got a pizza and came back and watched a movie.
God bless you. I love that.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I
I'm
love that.
36 and I love all
Yes,
that.
I bet your feet were so happy. See?
Weekday mornings at 9 a.m.
It's Travis and DeMarco
on 710 ESPN.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
It's a key ingredient called Tesnor. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. Total T is backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321321. That's HUNK to 321321.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetzky on 710 ESPN.
With 40 points and 16 big boards from AD, the big man was happy to have the king back on the floor.
There's some energy, which kind of brought energy to us. He's obviously dealing with some stuff, but I think the week off kind of just let him heal and get back right. And he came out with a ton of energy, which kind of got us going that first quarter.
It's the home of the Lake Show and the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Back to Andy Kamenetzky.
Little funky Kingston. Like it. Andy Kamenetzky, Lakers Talk, ESPN LA 710, and I am joined now, very excited. I've been wanting to talk with this guy for a while. Tom Zayas, co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast. He and Cranges McBasketball, who's been on the show before. They do a lot of deep dives into the numbers and the schemes, figuring out what is working for the Lakers, what isn't, what could be working better. Tom, how are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Andy. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are 26 games in. The Lakers are 14-12. A decent sample size of how things have been looking so far under J.J. Redick. But before we start looking big picture, what jumped out at you most from last night's win over Memphis?
I was listening in since you started the show, and I thought you nailed it with your analysis. The biggest thing,
Tom, you're welcome back whenever you want, man. You are an incredible guest. I'm going to say this right now.
Thank you. No, it was all in my notes, calling out Max Christie. I think the thing that stands out for me with him specifically is how he's being deployed at the point of attack on John Morant. If you kind of look at his data as far as where he's been deployed this year, we've seen him have a pretty substantial drop in what positions he's guarding. So last year, he was guarding point guards 28% of the time, whereas this year it's down to just under 22%, 21.8. So he's guarding more of the guards. He's being used more as a wing stopper, which I don't think is ideal for his skill set, at least not with the rest of the roster. So Max stood out a lot to me. And then the defense in general, the extra juice LeBron has, as you put it, I think all was big things in helping the team have a wire-to-wire win, which is not something we've really seen a ton this year.
Did anything look different, do you think, between the time off that we had with LeBron, like you just mentioned him, did anything look different with him as far as, or excuse me, let me rephrase this. I want to ask about the team then LeBron. Did anything look different with the time off following the Portland win versus what you've been seeing with Minnesota and the Grizzlies team-wise? Not LeBron specifically, but the team.
Yeah, I think over these past few games since the break, JJ called out executing the game plan in his halftime interview. What that means, part of it is using the ice on the side ball screen, so not allowing that ball handler on the wing to get back to the middle, to force him toward Anthony Davis or Christian Koloko and not allow the ball to get to the middle. So I thought that was what really stood out to me as far as their scheme. Now, with Memphis specifically, Memphis runs some of the least on-ball screens in the league. I think they might be the lowest. So it didn't they didn't attack the Lakers defense the way they should have, frankly, because to your point earlier, some of the switching scheme has been the big problem with this defense. And I was looking up just to get more context for Memphis's overall performance. Like you said, they've been a very good offensive team. That last night's game was their lowest effective field goal percentage on the season. And of the 3 games the Lakers have played them so far this year, it is 3 of their bottom 8 shot quality. So it's not just that they were missing shots. They were taking a lot of bad shots. The Lakers seem to at least understand in their couple wins and even the one they lost how to make this team not get the shots that they want. And I thought they also did a lot better job at walling up, stunting over on Ja Morant drives to just deter him in general from trying to get into the paint.
Talking with Tom Zayas, co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast, Andy Kamenetzky, Lakers Talk, ESPN LA 710. You mentioned that switching that the Lakers have been doing, I think, pretty excessively so far this season. Yep. It's been a big debate between me and my brother Brian on the Locked On Lakers podcast. Like, for me, it has felt too automatically a thing that they're doing, like without really any resistance or work that's being forced onto the opponent at all. It's almost at times felt to me like I've described it for as dance choreography between the Lakers and their opponents. Like, they don't want to make contact bumping into each other because they're worried it'll ruin the fluidity of the dance. Brian has an idea in his head that this has been more JJ doing this because he feels like the personnel can't do anything but switch. I have gotten a sense that at least starting out this season, this was happening more because this was philosophically what JJ had wanted to do. Have you gotten any sense of the why in terms of just how often they have been switching?
Frankly, it's about like keeping 2 off the ball, like not having to go through a ton of rotations on the weak side, simplifying that, and frankly, I'm leaning more toward your side of this is too easy. And I think, frankly, it's a lack of personnel talent and perimeter, aggressiveness that they have that makes it so, yeah, you could put Max Christie at the point of attack. Cam Reddish had a stretch there once he got inserted to the starting lineup where he made a real impact. But it's about the kind of lineups that you're seeing. I think you see JJ, not unlike Ham last year, kind of searching still, 24 plus games in the season for the right combination of guys, and the lack of Vando and the lack of Wood and the in and out of Jackson Hayes has really hampered the overall team's size in general, which is, I think, why you see them targeting guys like Valanciunas or Robert Williams, who are, solid players, but imperfect and maybe not going to catapult you to championship contention. But it's kind of a Band-Aid as the way we talked about it. I like the dance thing. The way I talk about it is like pitches in a pitcher's bag, right? So if you got 3 pitches, you're a little easier to flag and you have a higher percentage to know. And to your point, the switching simplifies things, but you still see a ton of miscommunications on the perimeter. They're like, how did you guys not know? This is all you do, Right.
It hasn't felt as much like it was being done with intention as much as it was being done reflexively. And that's the biggest issue I've had with it. It's just like it hasn't felt like it's been happening with any type of force or any type of purpose. It's almost felt like everybody just shedding their defensive responsibilities.
And it's super easy to take Max or Cam or whatever good point of attack defenders you have and get them out of the play and get D'Angelo Russell or Dalton Connect or LeBron James up there. And then it's or even Anthony Davis, taking them away from the rim. It creates a lot of other issues that they just don't seem to have the personnel to try to add a pitch to their arsenal right now.
Talking with Tom Zayas, the co-host of Lakers Exceptionalism podcast, really good data-driven show that makes it also very digestible. It doesn't feel like wonky and difficult to understand or too in the weeds. It's a really good presentation. What, as far as the offense and what you got, because I know you guys really pay a lot of attention to schemes and what the numbers tell you about the schemes. What do you think about the way JJ has approached the offense?
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words. I'm trying to figure it out as well. My co-host Tim, aka Cranston League Basketball, goes through every game, and he is a scheme wizard. He tracks it all through this document I'm looking at. He's done it since last year and a couple of years going on, and identifies the kinds of plays that they're running. Did a freelance play, which is just kind of more not a organization, maybe just a pick and roll with Braun and AD, or a quick post up or something like that. So looking at the data, last year the team ran half court sets of what we call organized offense 37.7% of the time. And that got them to a 1.13 points per possession, which is very strong offense. And this year, what encourages me about JJ and the rest of the coaching staff is that they already started this season at a higher level. So the team is running organized offense a lot more frequently, 59.7% of the time. But their efficiency isn't quite there. And I think there's a number of factors for it. Their efficiency is at 1.01. We've seen you called out a lot of LeBron's turnovers, the down streak that he and AD had kind of overlapping there for a minute. I think missing Austin hurt a lot. D'Angelo's decline as far as his impact offensively contributing to this. Something I noticed in late fourth quarter of that Memphis game is once Jaren Jackson fouled out, Luke Kennard was guarding Rui Hachimura. Andy, do you remember Rui getting a single touch in the end?
No.
I don't.
No, side note, we don't have to turn this into the Rui Hachimura hour, but I don't understand why they don't get him more shots, or it doesn't feel like they are looking to, because putting aside that Rui is a talented scorer, if you're not looking for Rui to score, there's a pretty decided ceiling in terms of just what you're going to get from him, period. That's the number one reason he's out there in the first place.
Absolutely. And he's been turned into kind of a hybrid catch and shoot, post up sometimes when you get a switch kind of guy last year. And looking through the film on all the post ups, I did a video about how the Lakers have trouble countering the post help. Rui has had significantly fewer post possessions this season. And it's got to be, to me, kind of philosophy within the offense. I think they can, there's a lot of meat left on that bone, I guess, for lack of a better expression.
Talking with Tom Zayas, co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast. You just mentioned, by the way, making a video with Rui. Where would people find the video?
We have a Lakers Exceptionalism YouTube. Just type that into your YouTube bar and we'll pop up. And, appreciate the support.
Yeah, absolutely. We just passed December 15th. We saw Dennis Schroeder go to the Warriors. Another old friend, Thomas Bryant, he's now going to the Pacers. There's obviously tons of players linked to the Lakers. Who or what type of players would you like to see the Lakers target? And then also, broadly speaking, do you think that this is a group that's worth going all in for, using both first-round picks that they have immediately accessible, basically firing all the bullets?
Yeah, so despite LeBron's fairly obvious decline, he's still a very impactful player. And LeBron James, Anthony Davis, though he had that down streak, been an incredible offensive player. Hasn't quite had the same defensive impact this year, but it's getting better. It's getting more up to the AD levels. And I frankly think getting a big, maybe not Valanciunas, I like Nick Richards from Charlotte. I think if you were able to find a matching deal, maybe include a first, market depending. I don't want to overpay just to get the guy, but the Lakers desperately need size right now. I'm not counting on Vando or Wood coming back. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm not holding my breath.
At this point, I have given up being loosey with the football. I sincerely hope both come back, and I think Vando's importance to this team has been really proven through his absence. But, I'm not going to say that the Lakers training staff is doing anything wrong, because I'm not informed enough, both in terms of what they do or just in sports medicine. I just know there is not a track record of getting guys back at target dates. That's just incontrovertible.
Yeah, so one of the things getting a big that can protect the rim and defensive rebound is you see it in that Memphis game. They got 17 offensive rebounds. It's 33% of their shots that were missed they got back. And that's been a big struggle for the team overall this year. It also shifts LeBron from a low man kind of helper role into being able to put him on that low activity offensive guy to like truly let him rest. Even within a switching scheme, it'll go down despite that. You know, they aren't going to target LeBron like they target Dalton or D'Lo, which is other problems, but shifting LeBron into a low activity role, giving Anthony Davis the ability to play free safety, help, you know, wreck your life defender, giving him more opportunity to not take some of those bumps and bruises to save him for the offense, which is frankly where the Lakers need him the most right now, because he can't save this defense by himself.
I mean, okay, probably the last thing I got for you, but do you think the defense is savable? Like how much talent or names or whoever would need to be imported in order to make this a savable defense? Or I guess how good would they have to become in order to be saved enough where the offense can carry them where they want to go?
That's a tough one. I think, you know, I think about something like Todd Whitehead put out, the offensive rating and defensive rating of every team who's won the championship over the last 45 years. What he found was 44 of the 45 were top 7 in one of the ratings, and only the lowest possible place they could be to win was 18th in the other. Mm-hmm. So if you could get your defense to 18th, you don't have to be a world beater, but that means you have to be a top 2, 3, 4 offensive team. And to me, that is the more possible pathway. So combining a Richards deal and like a Cam Johnson, you know, depending on if you send out D'Lo or Gabe and try to restructure around getting more of the defensive guys, slotting down, you know, putting LeBron in that low activity role and figuring everything else out, I think gives them a better shot. I don't think this is going to be a top 10 defensive roster. I don't think that's possible.
I'm glad you brought up Nick Richards, by the way, because he's somebody that I've had my eye on, and I know he's not a sexy name, and I mean, nobody ever becomes really sexy playing in Charlotte, but I do feel like he's perfectly slotted for the role that I picture him, you know, like 15 to 18 minutes playing sometimes with AD, sometimes backing him up, but that's like the perfect way to use him. He's defense, he's rebounding, he's a shot blocker. Like he I find more intriguing certainly than like Jonas Valanciunas, who I that to me doesn't solve many of the Lakers' problems at all, even though I know he's probably the biggest big that's attached to the Lakers.
Yeah, Valanciunas' defensive stuff, especially at the rim, has been pretty bad this year in comparison to his other seasons. Nick Richards, I think also, it's about opportunity cost, right? 'Cause I like Walker Kessler too, but not for 2 first-round picks, you know? So, yeah, it's about opportunity cost and age. Nick Richards is a young player.
I know.
And it could make sense with AD for years.
That's the other thing as well. He is Tom Zayas. He is the co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast. As he mentioned, you can watch it on YouTube as well. Really good but digestible, data-driven analysis of the Lakers. If you want to be smarter about the team, listen to Tom, listen to Kranjis. Appreciate the time, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Andy. And let's go Lakers. Let's get it.
Indeed. Let's do this, man. Thanks again to Tom Zayas. And coming up, 877-710-ESPN, I want to hear from you guys in terms of who are the names that you would like to see the Lakers target, because we are starting to get into trade season. December 15th unlocked the availability for a lot of different players around the league. It's also going to be silly season, meaning we're going to hear a lot of rumors about players the Lakers can't get. And also just, do you think this team is worth giving up the assets for? Giving up 1 first-round pick, giving up both first-round picks. Do you think it's worth it with this team? Because I know it wasn't that long ago, I was hearing from a lot of Laker fans saying it was time to move on from LeBron and AD. This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetzky, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, Sedano here. Holiday season is upon us, and there's no better way to celebrate with loved ones than with Tequila Mandala, award-winning artisanal small batch premium sippy tequila made from the finest mature agaves. It turns tequila fans into Tequila Mandala fanatics. Make sure you try all of them, from their Blanco to their Reposado, Añejo, and their flawless Extra Añejo. Up your game with Tequila Mandala and experience the best award-winning premium tequila, available everywhere fine tequilas are sold. Visit their website, tequilamandala.com, for more details.
You never expect a Hail Mary pass to win and end the game or getting into an accident. Hey, it's Travis with DeMarco and Evan Cohen.
Only one all-star defensive team you can call to defend you. The personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000.
Don't get sacked by others. Joseph will help you achieve the maximum compensation you deserve. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000.
Let Joseph and his team score a touchdown for you.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
NextGen is the official plumbing, heating, and AC company of SoCal sports fans. For just $14.99 a month, enjoy year-round coverage for all your plumbing, heating, and AC needs. No unexpected timeouts, just total peace of mind. As a NextGen member, you get complimentary multi-point tune-ups, annual water heater flushes, plumbing safety inspections, and VIP 2-hour priority service. Don't miss out. Call 833-3-NEXGEN today or visit nextgenaaronplumbing.com.
NEXGEN, call 833-3NEXTGEN.
Get ready, LA. The Art of Sport LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk, is back at SoFi Stadium on December 18th at 6 p.m. Be there as the Mountain West top team goes head-to-head with the former Pac-12 contender in a showdown you won't want to miss. Tickets and premium suites are on sale now. Don't miss out on your chance to be a part of the action. Visit LABowlGame.com to secure your seats today. That's LABowlGame.com.
Lakers Talk continues on 710 ESPN.
Max Christie had the tough task of matching up versus Ja Morant last night, and Max took full advantage of the opportunity to be in the starting five.
On the defensive end, obviously, my main assignment tonight was Ja Morant, so my mind was kind of just focused on trying to make it as tough as I could for him. He's a really dynamic player. He's a really good player, and I thought I did a decent job of that tonight.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetzky right now.
Side note, if you've never seen the movie Stop Making Sense, the documentary concert film with Talking Heads, the Tom Tom Club performs
Brilliant
this.
movie.
Brilliant movie. Yeah, it's a brilliant movie, but their performance of this, because for people who don't know, this song is a side. It's done by a side group from the Talking Heads called Tom Tom Club. It's become an incredibly sampled
The bassist and a drummer.
Yeah, their performance of this is awesome. Anyway, Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetzky, ESPN LA 710. Appreciate the time with Tom Zayas, the co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast. Going to be joined in about 20 minutes by Yovan Buha, who covers the Lakers for The Athletic. And I was asking before, 877-710-ESPN, who are the players that you want the Lakers to start targeting? Because December 15th just passed, which means now about 80-ish% of the players who signed this offseason as free agents are now eligible to be traded. We saw Dennis Schroeder get moved to the Warriors and Thomas Bryant get moved to the Pacers. The Lakers have obviously been linked to a lot of names around the league because of the Lakers, and that is what happens. Ben in Rancho Santa Margarita. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Ben?
Hey. You just mentioned the Pacers. Miles Turner is a name that's been brought up a lot in the past with the Lakers. Yeah. I don't know enough about them to know if he's even available, but you got size, you got scoring, and you got defense. What do you think?
Okay. Were he available, Miles Turner is somebody that I would definitely go after, and I would be willing to, at least theoretically, open up the entire bag, like both of their first-round picks. Like, you may recall a couple seasons ago when the Lakers were very openly looking to find a deal for Russell Westbrook, there have been a lot of reporting that the Lakers could have potentially gotten both Miles Turner and Buddy Hield had they been willing to give up 2 firsts for those guys. At the time, you could go back and listen to old Locked on Lakers podcasts if you want the receipts. I was like, do this. You will never get anybody better for Russell Westbrook. And, I mean, Miles Turner, I think, is probably the best player that has been linked to the Lakers at all over the last couple of years.
He's got an expiring contract. He only makes $19 million.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think he and AD would play great with each other. It's really a question of what Indiana wants to do moving forward, because they had a season last year that was better than expected. Remember, they went all the way to the IST, then IST, now NBA Cup Finals, lost to the Lakers. It has since been a very disappointing season for them. They're a few games below 500 now. I don't know if Miles Turner is young enough that if they still want to move forward with him, trying to rebuild or build forward, maybe a different path with Tyrese Halliburton, some of the younger guys, Turner is theoretically young enough to do that. That being said, man, he's also at just old enough that you're like, is he too old? Like he's at an interesting age, depending on how far the Pacers are, DeAndre, from feeling like they're doing anything.
I wouldn't mind acquiring Miles Turner just because he's able to spread the floor as well. So if that's the case, they can bring the big man outside and be able to keep Anthony Davis, and they can obviously switch it out. I mean, Anthony Davis can go outside, and Miles Turner can stay inside the paint.
You know what? I just looked now. He's a little bit older than I thought he was. I thought Miles Turner was about 27. He's actually just about to turn 29. That theoretically works well in the Lakers' favor.
Oh, yeah.
Because unless the Pacers think they can turn this ship around pretty damn quick, Miles Turner may be aging out for what they want. Because when they gave him that extension, it was a very short, team-friendly extension. They, I think, thought they were going to be better than they are right now. If he's a possibility, he is somebody that I would feel comfortable extending forward with Anthony Davis. Like, I think he and AD could play off each other really well for the next – I mean, that would be a bleep to score against. Mm-hmm. A back line of Anthony Davis and Miles Turner. I feel like they could complement each other on both sides of the ball.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, he can block shots. He can hit threes. If that is a possibility, I would absolutely be down for that. Let's talk to Kelsey in North Carolina. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Kelsey?
Yes, sir, guys. It's great to hear from you. But also, I was thinking about the Miles Turner as well, because think about how Boston is built. Boston has 2 good guys that can handle the ball, which could be LeBron and AD, which you could swap out for Tatum and Brown. But they also have another weapon that can stretch the floor that you have to guard. Even if Turner has an off night, he can have impact like Porzingis on the defensive glass.
I appreciate the call there, Kelsey. You're not going to have to sell me on Miles Turner. I thought a couple of years ago the Lakers made a mistake. If he was truly as gettable as the reports were, and I've heard from people who really attempted to report this thing out, that this was really a possibility for the Lakers. I didn't care as much about the Buddy Hield piece of it, but Miles Turner I was like, you're not going to do better for Russell Westbrook than Miles Turner.
Just $19 million.
I know. That is...
You know who makes around that much money?
D'Angelo Russell.
He does.
He does. And, I mean, I like D'Lo more than most people, but I know D'Lo is not likely going to be long for this ride with the Lakers. Although it feels like they're going to be doing 1+1 deals with D'Angelo Russell through like 2031. Like, this is just going to be going on forever. Like, he's like Bill Murray in What About Bob? Like, he's not gone. He's never gone. And then they open the door, and D'Angelo Russell's just standing there. That's what's going to be happening moving forward. All right. Again, 877-710-ESPN. Who do you want the Lakers to target? Do you want them to target anyone at all? Do you think this team is worth giving up some of the few assets that they have moving forward? Do you feel like the LeBron and AD era has exhausted itself, or there is still meat left on the bone? I've got some names I'm going to throw out there for DeAndre and Funchie. And again, we're going to hear from Yovan Buha in about 15 minutes. This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetzky, ESPN LA 710.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station. 710 ESPN. The radio home of the purple and gold. And the home of Lakers talk.
The purple and gold returned home to Crypto.com last night. And it was also the return of the king.
LeBron moving right. LeBron 4-3. Good. Huge three by LeBron.
I felt pretty good. Very rare throughout a course of a season where you can take advantage of a schedule, and I was able to do that.
It's a new edition of Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetzky.
LeBron was back in action, and AD led in dominant fashion as the Lakers took down the Grizzlies.
You know, we just wanted to get back to who we were in the beginning of the season, moving the basketball, sharing the basketball, and it looked real good tonight.
Game over. Lakers win, and LA beats a good Memphis team.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Lakers Talk is on. Here's Andy Kamenetzky.
We're about 10, 12 minutes, something like that, away from Yovan Buha dropping by the show, covers the Lakers for The Athletic. He's also got a really good podcast, Buha's Block, that everybody should be listening to. As plugged into the Lakers as anybody out there covering the team. So we're going to be talking to him in about 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And like I said, 877-710-ESPN. I want to hear from Laker fans in terms of who they are interested in the Lakers targeting. We're kind of in, like, if you've ever been to like a bar or a restaurant where they do a soft opening, where basically it's just like a select amount of people are allowed to come in to eat. You get like a limited menu, and the restaurant can figure out
usually
what's
free too. I like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great.
That's the best part.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like this is the period where the restaurant figures out what's working, what they like on the menu, etc. We're in like the soft opening period of the trade deadline because December 15th just passed, which meant that most of the free agents who signed last offseason, they are now eligible to be traded. Dennis Schroeder just got moved to the Warriors from the Nets. He was traded along with a second-round pick for DeAnthony Melton, who's out for the season, and 3 second-round picks. So it was basically the price was Melton's expiring contract and 2 seconds. And I know, because I've seen a lot of Laker fans wanting Schroeder 3.0, his third return to the team, wondering why Pelinka couldn't get in on that. in fairness to Rob, I mean, I have no idea how interested the Lakers are or not in Schroeder, but they had the perfect contract for the Nets, Golden State, in DeAnthony Melton because he's expiring and he's not playing. And for a team that needs to get their asses to the bottom of the standings and try to get into the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, Melton is perfect. Like, expiring cannot help you. He is physically incapable of helping you this year. And the closest contract the Lakers had money-wise to match a Dennis Schroeder's salary would be Gabe Vincent. And Vincent has one more year on his contract, so that's going to make him less appealing. That said, though, I think Laker fans should be happy about that deal with the Nets and the Warriors involving Schroeder, just in the sense that the price for Schroeder was not that high. Like, I had heard that the Nets might be interested. You were seeing reports of, a first-round pick for Schroeder because Schroeder's been having a hell of a season. He played really well in Toronto last year as well. He ended up going for a couple seconds. And maybe this could be indicative of the market moving forward with the Nets. If you're talking about, say, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, these are guys that you've heard about 1 first-round pick minimum, maybe 2 first-round picks. Maybe in reality that price ends up going down, again, for the rest of the league or the Lakers specifically. Dorian Finney-Smith, though, and Cam Johnson, obviously, with the Nets, are 2 of the biggest names that have been connected to the Lakers. I would be interested maybe he could be seen as a throw-in, but I think he could be intriguing for the Lakers. Deron Sharp, their young, he's kind of a backup center.
He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
He's a workhorse,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, he's intriguing. He's really athletic. He does not have much of an offensive game, but he's, I think, an intriguing prospect for them.
Yeah, he attacks glass really hard. He's one of those, he's going to give you effort and energy as far as on the rebounding end. The Lakers kind of, sometimes they get out-rebounded in certain games.
Sometimes.
Yeah, right?
I call those games, DeAndre, the times they're getting out-rebounded. I had mentioned before, Nick Richards in Charlotte is somebody that I've been interested in for a while because I think he fits the role perfectly in terms of realistically how much I think any big man you're going to bring in, unless it's somebody of like Miles Turner's level, most bigs are not going to play past a certain point with AD out there because AD is the best player on this team. And contrary to what AD may want, AD's best at center, I think. Like, I know he'd prefer to be more at the 4. I get it. I'm also reminded of that line from Mad Men, that's what the money's for. Like, sorry, dude, you're getting 40-something mil a year. That's part of the 40-something mil a year is you're playing more center than you want.
Yeah, Nick Richards also has took on a bigger role with the Hornets because of Mark Williams being absent. He's been out with some injuries. So he had to take on that bigger role as far as being the 5. So it'll be interesting to see if the Lakers were to acquire someone like that to move it. It'll be interesting.
Alex in West Covina has a name that he wants to target. What's up, Alex?
Andy, what about Jimmy Butler?
I think
let's go all in. Let's go all in on that guy.
Okay, here's my issues with Jimmy Butler. First of all, if it requires giving up even 1 first, but 2 firsts for Jimmy Butler, I'm really not interested in this, given his age right now, and also the idea of if he opts out and wants an extension, you have to give Jimmy Butler 2 or 3 years going into like age 37, 38. I have no interest in that, particularly if he wants like the full bag. And all of a sudden, if the Lakers give up 1 or both of their remaining firsts that they have total control over right now, them feeling like they have to do this with Jimmy Butler, you're basically compounding the issues that you have managing LeBron and to some degree managing AD. Like if you look at the contending teams around the league, most of them have at least 1 star that is young. I think this is very difficult to look at the issues that Phoenix is having with their 3-headed monster, but you've got Durant at this stage of his career, you got Bradley Beal at this stage of his career. Even Devin Booker's not I don't know his age off the top of my head, but he's not as young as he used to be.
We can't put the Expendables out here in LA.
I mean, if there's no, I don't want to do that. I don't. Devin Booker is Devin Booker's 28. So I mean, I guess he's the youngest of the 3. Bradley Beal, I mean, I don't even know his age off the top of my head, but to some degree it doesn't matter because he's always hurt. And Durant's in his mid-30s. I feel like you need at least one star in the case of the Lakers who would be under like 32. AD's 31 now. Like we focus so much on LeBron's age, we sometimes forget about AD's. Like AD is still in his prime, but he's on the backside of his prime.
And if they were to try to acquire Jimmy Butler, wouldn't they have to give up you have to include maybe Austin Reeves, right? You have to include.
Well, I'm not even as high, I think, on Austin as certainly the Lakers are, but I don't want to give up. If I'm bringing in Jimmy Butler and I'm taking on that contract and whatever, I'm trying to send out as many expendable players as possible. I mean, it'd be like probably D'Lo. I think you have to give up Rui just to make the money work. Mm-hmm. They're not going to. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to take Jared Vanderbilt until you have evidence of him being a useful player on an NBA court. So, I mean, Jimmy's making, I want to say 40. Let me look him up right now. Jimmy Butler is making, he's in the mid-40s this season, and I want to say his contract next year that he will reportedly opt out of, but it's a 52, 53, something like that. That's a lot of managing. Jimmy Butler's making almost 49. So you're going to have to send out D'Lo. You're going to have to send out Rui. Probably have to send out Gabe. None of whom are going to be players that the Heat are going to be particularly interested in, which means you're going to have to attach a first. Might have to attach a second. I don't think the Lakers would do this if it means giving up Austin Reeves. I don't think they do it if it means giving up Connect. I just don't want to deal with the prospect of managing 3 aging players moving forward, because at that point, Anthony Davis becomes aging. I want to try to find somebody that feels like they can actually grow with the team, not like, one last dance, like one last hurrah, trying to avoid that. You know what? I will ask Yovan Buha, though, from The Athletic, some of his thoughts on who the Lakers should be targeting, who he hears the Lakers could be targeting, in addition to his thoughts on the team right now. This is Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetzky, and whether you are heading to the stadium, to the arena to cheer on the Lakers, or you're going to watch the game at a friend's house, commit to the Go Safely game plan. If you plan to drink, plan ahead. Leave the keys behind, get a sober designated driver, and if you still need a ride home, you have options. Use public transit or a ride-hailing service. Stick to the game plan. Whatever you do, don't let yourself or your friends land a technical foul by driving impaired. Even the slightest impairment can hinder your ability to drive safely. Celebrate a sober ride home. It's always a win. Friends, don't let friends or themselves drive drunk. Go Safely, California, from the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans, 710 ESPN.
Is your vehicle due for service? Is it time to get those wipers replaced? If so, head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. For over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. At Valvoline, you stay in your car safe while the expert technicians make sure your ride is at its best. Oil changes, wiper blades, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Don't you love the sounds of the holiday season? The bells, the sleighs. Woohoo! If so, your holiday's now even more magical, because now during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, you can take home your favorite Hyundai with some of the season's greatest savings.
Drive away now in one of our most popular models with 0% APR and 0 payments for 90 days. Only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offer ends January 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Disney on Ice invites you to take a magical journey with Mickey, Minnie, and all your friends from Encanto, Aladdin, Cars, Moana, and the Disney princesses. Create new memories with Asha, Raya, Anna, and Elsa from Frozen 2. At Disney on Ice presents Magic in the Stars. Playing the LA area December 12th through January 5th. Tickets on sale now. Visit DisneyOnIce.com today.
Score a win with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup options. Amazon Pickup is a convenient and secure way to collect your Amazon packages from locations that are near you. This season, keep your holiday gifts a surprise when you choose to pick up from Amazon Locker or Counter. Whether you're hustling between home, work, or your usual game day spots, grab your packages on your schedule. Amazon Pickup is the worry-free option for the times when home delivery isn't ideal. To find your nearest Amazon Pickup location, go to amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
It's a key ingredient called Tesnor. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. Total T is backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321321. That's HUNK to 321321.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetzky on 710 ESPN.
With 40 points and 16 big boards from AD, the big man was happy to have the king back on the floor.
There's some energy, which kind of brought energy to us. He's obviously dealing with some stuff, but I think the week off kind of just let him heal and get back right. And he came out with a ton of energy, which kind of got us going that first quarter.
It's the home of the Lake Show and the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Back to Andy Kamenetzky.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetzky, ESPN LA, 710. Looking to track down Yovan Buha from The Athletic to get some of his thoughts on the team right now, coming off a very, very impressive win over the Memphis Grizzlies, 116-110 yesterday. The score, I think, is not entirely indicative of how the game was playing out, because before Anthony Davis went out with that shoulder stinger, he said, actually, he pointed out, and I guess he is correct, that it was around, he had 4 fouls anyway, so it was around when he might have come out. But when he went out of the game, the Lakers were up 20 points, and things very dramatically fell apart with AD off the court. And, on one hand, that's something the Lakers need to be able to do better with. It's AD's presence on the team and the importance is starting to become very similar, DeAndre, to what we've seen with LeBron over the last couple of seasons, when the Lakers literally could not function without LeBron out there. We're now starting to get that same thing, but it's AD instead. But the difference is, without the shoulder stinger, if need be, they could have put AD back in the game, I think, quicker than they might have otherwise. And just, JJ tells them, just like, all right, just be cautious, like, be careful.
See, the thing, he went out with that shoulder injury. You don't want to have a drop off. You want to have guys that come in ready to go and play, right? You don't have a certain drop off, and then certain. Let me put you on hold. Yeah,
no worries. Yeah, it's become just incredibly important for the Lakers to have Anthony Davis out there as much as possible. It's also become very important for them to figure out the ways to not fall apart when he's not out there. And somebody who has opinions on all that is Yovan Buha from The Athletic. You know his coverage. You should be listening to his podcast, Buha's Block. It's a must-listen for any Lakers fan. Yovan Buha! Buha! How are you, man?
I'm doing well. I love the intro.
Dude, it's shout out to Petros, man. It's a great opener that you got over there. So The Lakers, we were just mentioning, they're coming off, I think, one of their best wins of the season on both sides of the ball. I thought they, particularly defensively, they looked quite good. What jumped out at you most from that win?
I think, to your point, it was the defense, and we've now seen this 3 straight games, right, against Portland, Minnesota, and Memphis, where it feels like they've been executing JJ's defensive philosophy at a high level in terms of being aggressive with their helping, but also rotating and scrambling out well. And that's something that we have not consistently seen with this group. It's sometimes, like they'll make the initial rotation or switch, and then it's like the longer you can kind of target or sort of attack the Lakers defense on the second or third rotation, they'll inevitably stop trying as hard or make a mistake. And it feels like we've seen fewer of those mistakes. They've also, I think, been switching a little bit less, keeping AD closer to the basket. And when AD is able to sit back and be a rim protector, there are few, if any, better rim protectors in the NBA. So I think that there's been a strategic adjustment for sure in terms of being more selective with the switching, but also an effort thing. And that's something that we talked with Max Christie about last night. Just asked him, like, what's been the biggest difference with this recent defensive upturn? And he was like, honestly, I just think it's an effort thing. I just think we're trying harder for whatever reason. And it does feel like with the Lakers, it often comes down to an effort thing in terms of just them being engaged and attentive and actually trying, which we don't always see that tonight.
Well, that actually, we're talking with Yovan Buha from The Athletic, covers the Lakers. He also has the Buha's Block podcast, which you should be listening to. Part of what I did not like about the frequency and the automaticness with which they were switching, beyond the fact that it was clearly ineffective, is that it felt like an extension of that lacking intensity that you were talking about, where it felt like too perfunctory, where it was a substitute for actually just trying to battle through anything. Like even the switching was being executed without any type of intensity, and it felt like it fed into some of their worst mental instincts defensively. Like it was allowing them to be the worst version of themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And I get it's funny because if we were having this conversation a year ago, we'd be talking about LA being too dogmatic with their drop coverage and not switching enough. And now it feels like the pendulum has swung in the opposite direction where they're probably switching too much. I think the real fix here is probably making some trades and getting some better defenders in the rotation and sort of restructuring this group. But in terms of the current, because I think even if they're running, if they're trying their hardest on a nightly basis and executing the best possible defensive game plan, I still think this group probably tops out at about league average defensively. I just don't think they have many consistent plus defenders. And maybe Jared Vanderbilt can bump that up a few spots, but
who?
Even at their best, well, yeah, even at their best, this is not a top 10 defense. So I think there's a clear ceiling there, and the way to get past that ceiling is to just bring in better defenders, but really more two-way talent. But yeah, I'm with you. It is funny though how the conversation has swung, where we used to want the Lakers to switch, but now they've been doing it a bit too much. And we've seen this passivity to the defense that has at times undermined them.
Talking with Yovan Buha, covers the Lakers for The Athletic, also the host of the Buha's Block podcast, which I've listened to enough to know that, like me, you are a proponent of Max Christie and his potential. He had a phenomenal night last night as the primary guy checking John Morant. Do you expect him to stay in the starting lineup, at least for the foreseeable future? And how repeatable do you think that type of performance is for him defensively?
I think he is going to stay in the starting lineup, and really it's kind of funny how the Lakers season has gone, where several guys have kind of had their roles cycle through. Early in the season, going back to the preseason, Max was at times the sixth man of this group and playing the most bench minutes in the preseason and starting the season. then he has a pretty rough start. He ends up losing a spot, then eventually works his way back in. But you've seen, D'Lo go from starting to coming off the bench, back to starting, back to the bench. Dalton earning a starting spot, then going back. So, they've been shuffling and rotating to try and find that fifth guy. To me, Max Christie checks the most boxes of what JJ was saying that they're looking for. They're looking for a defensive-minded guy who could be a point-of-attack guy, space the floor, hit threes, and doesn't need the ball. And really it comes down to Max versus Gabe. But as JJ said after the game, in picking between those two, Max is bigger, he's more athletic, and he's also younger and a guy that they view as a longer-term piece that they want to continue to develop. So I do think for the time being, unless he goes back and regresses to the player he was earlier in the season in terms of playing passively, making some of those mistakes, and really struggling on both ends, that's really the only way I see Max falling out of favor with the coaching staff and the starting lineup. Now, in terms of replicating the success, I think it is a matchup by matchup thing, because I think with Max, it comes down to when if he's playing an equally sized or smaller player, I think he's able to leverage his athleticism and just his physical advantages better. But when he's playing a bigger player, we've seen it with guys like Ant or Devin Booker or some of these other guys, where if you have some type of strength or physical advantage over him, you can body him, you can create space, and you can, especially if you're a good mid-range shooter, you can rise up and score over him. So I do like him better on point guards and smaller players. And thankfully for the Lakers, I guess there's a lot of those guys in the league that I think he'll have to guard. But if they're going to also use him on the big wing types, that's where I have some concerns, because I don't think he's quite equipped right now, at least physically, to handle some of those, like a Jason Tatum or someone like that.
Talking with Yovan Buha, covers the Lakers for The Athletic. This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetzky, 710 ESPN. LeBron returned last night after time away from the team. He had missed 2 games. He was on the heels of arguably his worst stretch as a pro, and there had been a lot of speculation swirling around his absence. It was happening around the time of rumors of the Warriors being interested in more conversations about bringing in LeBron being interested in the Lakers making moves, and if nothing else, the lack of details leading up to his eventual return grew odd. Like, how much subtext, if at all, do you think should be read into LeBron's absence and the mystery surrounding it?
It was odd, to say the least. I think it's perfectly common for players to not be with the team when rehabbing an injury. We've seen that this season with quite a few Lakers. Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, Christian Wood. Guys will not travel for a road trip or be at a practice or whatever because it's better to stay home or go get treatment in the back or whatever. So that's totally common. And I think if that had been the way it was framed, I don't really think it would have raised eyebrows. But it was all of a sudden he's just not at practice, and there had really been no initial reporting or update on that. And then it's, he's not here, and then we're the personal reasons excuse. And of course, perhaps there was a legitimate personal reason that we just, LeBron didn't want to speak on after the game or those things are personal reasons and they're private, and whatever it was, that's, his prerogative. It's just, I think if they had not introduced that and they had just kept it as LeBron is tending to his foot and he is not at practice, that does not raise any eyebrows or red flags. And then if it's LeBron is not traveling to Minnesota, he is not playing this game because of the left foot soreness, and he's tending to that, that does not raise any flags. The problem is he's not at practice for personal reasons, then he doesn't play in the Minnesota game, and we don't know, or do you know when LeBron is going to return to the team? No. And that, those two things, I think already that the speculation was running rampant, but those two things I think only fan the flames, and I think in retrospect that could have been handled differently. I guess from the Lakers' perspective, they don't really care about the fan base or the media talking about this type of stuff. it ultimately didn't really affect anything on their end, but I do think that could have been handled better for sure.
Talking with Yovan Buha, covers the Lakers for The Athletic, the host of the Buha's Block podcast. How do you expect LeBron to be managed moving forward? Like, is it limiting his minutes, shorter spurts of minutes, changing his role to some degree?
It sounds like the shorter spurts is what J.J. Redick is proposing, where they want to play him in these, 4 to 5 minute spurts, don't really want to keep him in longer shifts than that. So it sounds like it's going to be more, more substitutions in and out and just making sure he's not playing. Because I will say with LeBron, one thing I have noticed this season that has certainly been a departure from previous seasons is he's been calling out of games more frequently, and especially earlier in games. And this is a guy who, obviously from a longevity perspective, has played at a level we've never seen before, and in theory, takes care of his body as well as anyone and has the greatest stamina maybe we've ever seen. But this season, he's looked a little bit more human, not just in terms of his on-court play, but actually literally from getting tired and asking out of games. So I do think that there's an element to that of them just managing his minutes a little bit more from there. From a minutes perspective, I do think he should be playing fewer minutes. He's playing 35 minutes a game. Last year, he played 35.3, so basically no difference there. I think that probably has to get down to at least 33, if not 32 minutes a night, and maybe you see a more spry LeBron James. But I do wonder, no one asked the question about back-to-backs. I think that will be a natural follow-up that maybe that practice tomorrow about, is LeBron going to play in back-to-backs moving forward? How they decided on that? Or is it a situation where maybe it's not back-to-backs, but it's if it's a 3 games and 4 nights type situation, he will rest one of those 3 games because it does seem like now that the 82 game season dream has died. I wonder if they get a little bit more selective in terms of resting him occasionally, especially if it's the Portland game on Sunday was the perfect scenario where you're playing a lottery team that you should be able to beat without LeBron. If they have more situations like that, I wonder if they do selectively rest him in the future.
So December 15th has passed, Yovan, so we're officially in trade season. What sense do you get about the Lakers' willingness to push the few remaining chips that they have in the middle? What are you seeing or hearing?
Yeah, so I do have a trade piece coming out on The Athletic, I believe, tomorrow. Yes, so I will plug that. Don't want to spoil it too much, but I will say my sense is, in talking to people around the league, because of course with the Lakers, that there's always going to be some level of secrecy, and that's a competitive thing for them, right? They don't want rival teams to know what they're thinking or what they're trying to do. But my sense is the Lakers are going to do something. It's just a matter of the magnitude of what they're going to do. Is it going to be a small move, maybe dumping a minimum contract to create a roster spot to try and sign someone and just improve the team that way? I think they have some dead weight at the end of the roster. Or is it maybe a medium-sized thing? Do they trade Gabe Vincent in a couple seconds for Jonas Valanciunas? Which I personally don't love that trade. I think Valanciunas is a defensive liability who maybe in one specific way can help the defense with his physicality and post defense. But if you get him in a pick and roll, you get him in situations where he has to rotate and cover ground defensively. He's a massive liability. Also, I find it funny because the Lakers targeted him at the end. They played New Orleans twice in New Orleans, regular season finale and the play-in game. They played Jonas Valanciunas off the floor in both scenarios, and you would think that would be enough to not be interested in adding him. But for whatever reason, he's been linked to them both from the team and from people outside the team. Or do they put one or both first-round picks on the table and really go for it? I'm personally skeptical of them putting both picks on the table. I feel like it would have to take a lot for them to consider that. But are they willing to go try and get a Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, someone of that type, and potentially use a first-round pick or maybe multiple second-round picks to get someone like that? So I think right now it's unclear what the scale of the magnitude is. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they trade for Valanciunas in the shorter term and then see how that looks. And then maybe closer to the trade deadline, execute a bigger deal if they are so inclined to. I'm of the mindset they should just go for it, put both picks on the table, and if you believe in LeBron and AD as a duo, then upgrade the supporting cast and see what you can do. Because I think one thing that we should keep in mind, like Lakers are 10th in the West right now, but if they win that Orlando game and that Atlanta game, which are two big ifs, they'd be 5th in the West right now. And I think we'd be having a totally different conversation from a tenor perspective about this team. But they missed 4 free throws on the final 40 seconds of the Orlando loss. They botch a switch with Trae Young. He hits a game-winning 3, and they're all of a sudden 10th in the West. And that's the margin of the West for sure, and they can make up the ground eventually. But I think that this team has probably been, in some ways, a little bit better than people have discussed of them. And if, again, a couple games go the opposite way, they're looking like the 5 seed, and I think we are talking about, hey, this is a group probably worth investing in.
Last question for you. We're talking with Yovan Buha, covers the Lakers for The Athletic, also the host of Buha's Block, the podcast, also available on YouTube. There's a tendency, and I'm as guilty as anybody, to frame whatever moves get made or don't get made purely as like a Rob Pelinka decision. And obviously he's guiding the process, but how much do you sense is a product of Jeannie Buss's wishes, like in either direction? Just because if one would assume that if she really felt strongly about the need to go all in with this team over the last couple of years, she would be telling Rob, make the best all-in move possible. Like, that is what I want. And they haven't been doing that, and they really have not been doing much of anything strong since, trading Russ out. How much do you sense in terms of just what Jeannie Buss wants and how much that's weighing into this?
Yeah, I think that's certainly an element. I do think Rob has more maybe autonomy than the average team president. Like I think he's maybe, I don't want to say calling the shots more, but I think Jeannie trusts Rob, and he is a decision maker who has won a championship, and I think he has had his fingerprints and imprints on this roster over the last few years. But of course, as the owner of the team, she is ultimately calling the shots, and she can dictate the ultimate decision. So I think there's an element of that. I think in general, the Lakers have been a bit more conservative since the Russ trade in terms of using their draft capital. I think the egg on their face from that situation is still, it's kind of been stuck there, and they haven't cleaned it off. And I think at this point, enough time has passed where it should just be short-term memory. Like yes, obviously don't make that type of move again. But
don't trade for Russ again.
Don't trade for Russ again, right? But as long as you're not making that type of mistake, I think there are still good